All right.
Okay, so welcome back. We're going to do another live here. Dennis, I hope you show up for this because I have some questions for you and he's actually going to invite you on live. Ryder, we had a really interesting conversation last night. Come closer. Come closer. Let me see.
Obviously, when we're like this, it's like we're in two different rooms with the line right there.
Yeah, almost, huh? That's cool. Let's do it. Let's make it look like that. That's cool. Okay, so the dimension, the dimension of the plant should be a plant in your room. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Well, my whole purpose of having a discussion with my son on the What on Earth is Happening shows, specifically Mark Passio's shows, podcasts, What on Earth is Happening, was the intention to not have my son get black pilled. But I think that that has happened. And we had a very long discussion last night about the definitely episode 17, but all the episodes and how it feels. Well, I'm just going to let him tell you. So, Ryder, what happened? Give me the ideas of.
Well, I was realizing that in listening to all these and trying to live my life where it's, you're looking for the truth, hard work, everything, you got to find a purpose, find this, all this stuff. It's not fun. And at this point, there's no point in existing. That existence is not one that I want to be part of. And it doesn't matter because it's too much. I'll explain.
Okay.
So fundamentally, the ideas that, and I have been confirming this, the ideas that have been said so far, looking for the truth, sharing the truth, finding the unequivocal actual truth, natural law, everything, all of this truth. And this is, and you have to know the truth. You have to shine a light on this dark, evil thing that's always that's been there and it's controlling everything, and all this forms of mind control and all of this stuff. At the end of the day, there is nothing that you can do except for live your life and have fun and have a purpose that you enjoy doing. There is no reason to try and fight back in the sense of I need to share this with everyone and all this, because at the end of the day, that is its own form of mind control where you have now been hijacked from what you were doing to now start having to spit someone else's, and whether it's better or not, it is someone else's agenda. It is someone else's, it's exactly what he's saying. It's someone else's perception of reality. If I am living my life, and there'll be plenty of arguments that I'll say later, but if I'm living my life, not hurting anybody, enjoying my life, successful, having good relationships, good progress, every day feeling fulfilled, and I just want to learn a little bit about something else as well. I want to learn something new. And I hear this, and then this dogma, which is what it is, it's its own religion and its own dogma that is then implanted in my brain. And then I now have to, and I'm waking up and realizing that all of these different things, whoa, this is the perception. This is what's happening. This is what it is. This is all this stuff is happening. This is the truth. These are all these meanings. This is all these words. It is then no longer your life. You have just been successfully hijacked. The exact same way that he has talked about the cult that he was a part of, about Scientology, about Bohemian Grove, all these different things, you are now hijacked the same way that they hijacked everything else. And it is the same thing. And now one of the arguments is, well, that's not true at all because it's good. And it's the same thing that he talked about in episode 18, which is the culture idea of what's good and bad, and how the whole the group mindset changes what is good, and how the final goal of evil is to, I'm paraphrasing, but justify what they're doing so people think that it is right. It is the exact same way when you say, well, no, what he's saying is good, so it's okay to do that. It's the same thing. Well, no, doing drugs is bad, but this is okay because it's medically sound. And unfortunately, it is the same thing. And that is important to know. It's important to realize. And it makes sense. It actually makes total sense because the way that he was taught and explained things when he was in the cult is the exact same way that he is now sharing the information, which is like, of course, these are these great ways. Because, like, I mean, anybody in this position would probably do the same thing, right? If somebody learns how to get someone's mind hijacked and they want to fight against it, why would they not use the same tools? Because it's already proven to be super successful and that this will work. So the other argument is, well, these people living along, they're NPCs, they're this and this and this. Well, first up, unfortunately, you cannot judge them and you cannot base it around that. If you immediately start living life, and it happened to me, I started looking down on everybody else. I was disappointed in people. I didn't like people I was around who I had no problem and I was having a great life with. And then I started seeing them like, wow, they're just NPCs, they're mind control, all this. Well, at that point, I should just cease to exist. I don't need to try to help them either. I can maybe offer them suggestions or, hey, look at this and stuff. But if I'm trying to change them, then I shouldn't exist, because if I'm only able to interact with people who I deem are perfect, that's never going to happen. And if it happens, it's once in a blue moon. My perception and my enjoyment of life was affected not because, oh, it's so doom and gloom and everything, but because of the truth that he was sharing is like, wow, wait a minute. It's not fun. And it makes sense because looking at him, he's not a happy person. At least in the podcast, he's not happy. He is in fear. He is angry, of course. And whether it's justifiable or not, people are going to hear this, and if they really like what he says, they're going to fight against it. They're going to say, no, he's wrong. He doesn't understand what he's saying. And that's exactly what the mind control is. That's what he wants you to think. So they will justify it. And whether he actually personally wants it or not, I'm saying that because it is a perception that you can understand, which is the same thing where anytime that mind control has been used in this case, except for when he had the guest on, when we're talking a little bit more about obfuscation and culture and how that is shifting, there is no physical mind control that's being done. Nobody is forcing you to do anything. And I'm going to have to I'm going to have to reinstate this, that the last episode, yes, that was forceful mind control, and there are topics of that. But the majority and what's affecting everybody on the world and the heart of the problem are not those 3 kids who were abused. The heart of the problem is the entire group. And sure, it might be mean to say that, but that those individual children who were abused as children, maybe, to them it matters a lot, but the whole world is being affected, not in that way, but because they have been shown that they can choose what is not presented to them as good. And it's not even presented as good or bad at this point. The dark occultist, or whoever's in charge, is just giving you the option of either doing exactly what you have been doing because you've been raised a certain way, so you're doing this anyway. Keep doing it, and you're going to and they're not asking for anything. They're not asking for anything at all. They're not telling you to do anything. They're not asking you to do anything. They're not saying that you need to do this. They're not threatening you at all. They're allowing you to choose. They're allowing you to choose what they are offering, which is how you've been living before. Because the way that they have successfully infiltrated the education system is that you are living your life the same way. You're living this certain path the whole way. And then when you're confronted with options, your options are not one or the other. It is either keep doing exactly what you've been doing that you're comfortable doing, or do something uncomfortable. Follow cult leaders. Follow people who seem crazy. Look at the people who are presenting this information to you and actually look at them and ask yourself, do you feel uncomfortable by their presence because, oh my gosh, he's such a wow, he has such a commanding presence. It's really impressive and like, wow, that's crazy. Or is it because, wow, that guy's an asshole. I don't want to be around that. If you think about the people who are the whistleblowers or the people who share this information, think about the way that they share it. Because yes, of course, it's hard to know the truth of this and to stay sane and be able to show it calmly. But everyone shoves it down your throat. They're shoving it down. They're saying, you need to make radical change. You need to make change right now. You need to do this. This is what has to happen.
Who's saying this? To make the changes?
To make the changes, you have to change your way of thinking. what you have to look for the truth. This is what's so far some of the earlier lessons in the podcast. You have to change how you're thinking so you can finally free your mind. Does that sound like fun? Does that sound comfortable compared to doing exactly what I've been doing? Because the hard thing is there are extreme cases, but for the general people, I'm not an NPC. I'm going to live my life. I'm doing my own life. But you have to wake up and you have to see that you're being manipulated by this and this and this. Or you can go on your computer, do your work, watch a movie, go to bed, sleep and eat, and for all intents and purposes, feel just healthy enough. Whether you are or not, doesn't really matter. This is what you've been doing. This is what you can't keep doing. Or you have to change right now. You need to spread that. You need to listen to this information. You need to see. You need to open your eyes. You need to look around you. You need to see what's going on so you can start explaining this to people. You need to learn for yourself. You need to do more. After you listen to this episode of the podcast, you need to do more. It's not enough to just listen. You have to now read this book. You now have to see what its sources are. You have to do this and this and this. And I'm saying it's not what he's saying exactly. But what I'm saying is this is how people will take it. Because if somebody's going from a shift from stage 1 and they have to go all the way to stage 5 of actually waking up, that's really hard to do. And it's not been presented in a way that you can like ease it in. People will say that, oh, you have to quit immediately. You have to quit cold turkey. And you know what? That is how drug users and alcohol users go right back and regress. That is true.
You're saying a lot, and I
know.
I so appreciate that you're sharing.
The main context was that it's not good to just take everything from face value. That's what I said originally, right? It's not good to just listen to this and then immediately, I have to change my whole way of thinking. I have to change my whole way of life. I have to do this. I have to look at all this stuff. So
I'm not sure he ever said you need to change your whole way of life immediately and all that.
But how come that's what I got from it? And you got from
no,
it. You got
I think
from
maybe
well.
I put that on you because I want you to have a wider understanding. I want you to understand the systems that are at play.
But what you're quoting right now is that book that you mentioned.
Well, but I'm using the word systems because I'm using the word systems to describe some of the categories.
Because it's a context that we can both understand.
So that, right, correct.
So it's exactly what I was doing.
Passio is in the process of explaining certain worldviews that he's distilled into these categories that have used fear.
It's not bad at
to
all.
keep one controlled and in a prison of their own making.
That is
similar to what you're saying.
That is exactly what I'm saying. But the difference here is it is not enough to just give them the information flat out, because first up, it's not possible for the general person to see that they're in a prison. If you tell someone,
become a habit
because
for
if
them.
you see,
if that's the way they were raised,
if that's the way that they
were
raised, they cannot see it. So when you tell them, and this is what I'm saying, I'm not attacking him. Attacking you're saying is bad at all. I'll continue listening.
I think this is great. This is very good. This is a discussion, and we should have more debate.
There will be people who like think about how they defend Trump or defend Biden or whatever. No, you're attacking him. Every little thing is bad. That is not mind control placed by somebody else. That is what they were like a sponge and they just took all of it.
Exactly. And
so
that
now
is my
when you
own
try
natural
to
way.
squeeze the sponge, they froze it. You can't squeeze the sponge. You need to melt it first and then get it out.
Okay, so I get that
That's
analogy. But what the key is that first, I think it's interesting to look at the impact that it has had on you in moving through this data, which I think there is still valuable and useful data in this body of knowledge.
There always is, but you have to be looking for that and not in the way that I need to look, because you can't, because what you thought, and I know you did say this, and we can look back if you need to. When I listened to this, my whole way of thinking was wrong. Like my whole
for what I was saying.
What you said.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, well, first up, that's a horrible mindset to go in where the whole thing is wrong. No.
But I was thinking
add to it.
but the thing that was significantly incorrect in my thinking was that essentially, if I could just envision or imagine everything good and imagine it and feel it real
Then it
as
would happen,
positive,
right.
then it would happen.
And I know
that's
what you're saying
delusional.
is when you said the Pollyanna idea of always being now, but I also, and this was actually a key thing that I realized for myself as well. I've already said this myself. Visualizing actually works against me because if I spend so much time in my head, all of a sudden I'm no longer present and I just kind of slow down into the physical reality.
Exactly, and
because
it's a
I think that
lower
it happened
level
up here,
action.
but it didn't happen here.
Right.
You need to use the mind of the positivity to help get you from here to here. It is not, I'm happy here while I'm being tortured down here. This is hell down here, but I can go to happy place up here.
Yeah.
They're not coexisting. There needs to be a line. I'm in the shits right now. This is where I want to be. I think I have this positive dream. I'm in a bad place right now, and I want to get to the positive place. You need to have both at the same time. And it's very hard for people to have. You need to be having a horrible life with a lot of hope and recognize that both are happening. You need to be like, this is awful. I need better. I want better. I'm going to do better because I have this goal of what I want to go for. Otherwise, you have people who are...
And the correct estimation of how much it's going to
Exactly.
take so that you don't give up halfway there. Or
right, because that's what a lot of people do is they say to themselves, I'm in a horrible place. I will never be able to get there anyway. So
Right.
I'm comfortable enough just having the dream. Or I'm having the dream that eventually I can get here and I'm just going to keep slugging along in life because eventually maybe I can get to my dream. And then all of a sudden
Again,
it gets in the
that's
back of your
delusional.
head.
That's
in the back
delusional.
Of your head. Yes. Like people who give up on their dreams. I want to be a baker, but I'm going to keep working my corporate job without baking or anything because eventually I might make enough money because of my debt that I went for my school debt. Eventually I'll pay it off. And eventually I got to be a baker and eventually
So,
and push it away.
Here's
That's the
all
difference
this.
between, that's what I'm saying, where you're thinking, oh, it's always there. And some people that's just enough, right?
No, but here's the thing. And what I heard when you were sharing what you felt,
was what?
That, and then also hearing you again today speak on this, it's like, you're right. Why in the hell are we minding someone else's business? They need to mind their own business.
Yes. Yes.
The concept that I believe Passio and why he does this work is because he does have the knowledge that there are active 24/7 active intentional.
There's nothing.
There's
nothing that's like actually. It's not actually secretly like we can't see the particles going in your brain and changing your brain.
We absolutely can.
You need to do.
We absolutely can. There is absolutely chemtrails every single day. It is nanoparticles, and they are in our body. They are in our mind. They are in our food. They're in our food.
And now you get to live in fear.
Okay, but I'm not living in fear.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
This is
right here. Right here. This is the example because this is a perfect example of it. If this is true, why do you cover your mouth when you go outside the door? You're breathing chemtrails every time you go outside. So why are you covering your mouth when you're in the hallway? Because you can smell it a little bit more.
Not a little bit more, a lot more. I can smell it,
and it's even worse that you can't smell it out there. It's even worse because you can't smell what's out there, but you're breathing so many toxins anyway. This is what I'm saying. That right there, you came up with that yourself. That you had to do this. And I'm not saying
that I had to do what?
You have to cover your mouth when you're out there because it smells so strongly. Is it like, you know what?
It bothers me. It gives me a headache when I go out there with the perfume.
And that's the example. They give you that, and they didn't even make that happen. They just this mind control. The reason it smells bad.
I'm not saying it's mind control. It's sold.
It's
just like
this is the system.
It is the system. Just like if you have laundry detergent that has fragrance, we know it's a neurotoxin. We know it damages the
But we know nothing. No, stop.
No, I do know because this is my job. This is what I do.
I get that. No, that's right.
So I know this is what I study. So
yes,
it's not
but because of that, of
just
course.
Like, someone's pointing.
Okay, but also we talked about science as well. We talked about science as well. We talked about that as well, which is it is not, you can't trust the science because science is a process. You were always learning in there. And sometimes I do feel like you take
empirically,
what you've learned.
I can walk outside and go, okay, wow. When I walk outside and I smell all that laundry detergent,
And then I bet you feel amazing when you get outside to the
I
fresh
don't
air,
necessarily. I told you from the
Like you
moment
feel-
I freaking moved to Houston, I've been sick 3 times.
But when you were
in less than
when you
2
were
and
in
a half months since
Tennessee,
being here.
there were still the chemtrails there, right? You saw the chemtrails. In
Very
Tennessee.
little, very little.
That's not true. When I was there, we saw them all the time.
For us, we did not
Okay.
see them very often. I spent most of my
So
time
how do we
walking,
know?
working.
First up,
so it was very different.
How do we know? But you see, like because of this, that's what I'm saying. They didn't make you do anything.
Who's they? The dark occultists that we're talking about now? Okay, so we'll say what Mark says of the dark occultists. They don't make you do anything. Okay, because they have the ability.
To you.
Correct.
Yes, they're presenting the
and
poison
they're hiding it, obfuscating it. The whole point of what he's saying in these last couple of episodes is it's obfuscated and it's made complicated so that you can't see the simplicity of the shit show that is literally being created.
You don't know if you feel bad or not. Because you can't tell if you feel healthy, but you don't know what health. You don't know what feeling.
We don't know what true health is, and I get that. Yes. So for me, I believe what's happening, and why I think this is so valuable and so important that anyone that is going to, and I still think that this body of knowledge is important to do, but it needs to be done in a discussion, like multiple discussions, and be able to process it. Because I do see and understand. I've been there exactly where you are. With this black pill of it's hopeless, this is horrible. What's the point? And let me live my own life and find joy again.
It's not, it's not even just from this.
But understand, you are literally going through a sphincter hole, yay big, to pop out the other end, so that you realize, holy crap! Because you will have to.
Who has done so?
Who has done so?
Who has actually popped out through the other end?
I have.
Are you?
And I'm sure there are multiple places that I will pop out of. But I am a different person than I was 1 year ago, as a result of opening
and you're still learning
to this. And I will learn every single day.
And this is the thing right there. You need to constantly be in a state of learning, but with fun, because as soon as you pop out.
Absolutely. I never said that it should not be balanced and not have fun. This is super important. That's why I thought, okay, well, we'll have these discussions and we can do this. But it wasn't to completely find a way that's hopeless. But I do believe, and I think this is important.
What I was saying. Like
I do.
With the other podcasts.
And that's why I think it's really important.
I was going down the path of, this is like, oh, we'll learn about all this stuff. Like, wow, this is different. I'm seeing, like, you see all, it's like when you understand, okay, I understand now, or like when you're a reticular activator, you're looking at this certain brand of car and you see that car a bunch. I understand now how people are reacting because of this. Like,
what's this and this?
Okay, people lash out and make little tiny, like, sharp jokes against you because
what people, hiding. Who and when? Me, rhetorically speaking?
No, I am saying in general. If you can see people's attitudes, that's the worst part. Is in general, there are specific examples, but also in general, people you interact with, you can tell, oh, the way that this person's talking.
You're saying you as in me interacting with, or you? Give me a specific example.
Okay. So I go outside and I go see a bunch of people talking. And I can see, and I see, like, oh, kids getting back from school. Oh, they're pushing each other and they're saying mean things about each other in a playful way. Oh, they're doing this because they're very self-conscious.
Wait. First of all, you're the observer of that situation going on, and then you're judging that and then utilizing
yes,
it. Why?
Because they're mind controlled.
What? See. Wait a minute. Well,
the fact that you can't see this is what's distressing to me.
But why would you even be putting your attention on those kids unless that was actually your duty or job to go in and unmind control those? I mean, it's like you need to pick your battles, right? And so right now,
did you pick your battles? Do you pick your battles?
In the work that I'm doing, yes. I'm doing the best I can with what I can, and I want my children to know, my sons to know, and have this knowledge to understand and be able to think through these things and have an understanding of philosophy and art and literature and creativity, as opposed to just, oh, let's go and play video games today, or let's go and scroll and find the next app.
So right now you're bouncing back and forth from the extremes. You're not in the middle again.
So I'm trying
Because
to
what I'm
point
okay,
out
I will
to
give you
you
an
that
example.
this
I was
is
trying to give you that example so it wasn't like, so it was a little bit more like accessible. But
okay.
do you need me to give you a super specific example?
Yes, specifically.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking
So
for.
me-
So I understand. Go ahead.
And one of my friends who I have been friends with for a year, every day,
Yes.
interacting with them, having a great time, all in all, a positive relationship.
Okay.
After seeing after listening to this stuff, saying, you know, this is this, and I don't want to give, like, I can tell you, okay, so the first thing you said, first up, okay, people doing this because they are, like, they're eating this food because it's been peddled that is what tastes good. Right, it's the senses. It's the
well, they
senses
probably
versus
grew
emotion.
up with it, right? It's like,
and then also, I'm giving you all the things because you
okay,
need
go ahead.
examples. So then also, oh, you know, when you hear people who are, they're saying that, you can tell that their soul is, or not their soul, but you can tell that their mind is like they're pushing against because they're.
So you can tell this based on what?
Because of what I'm hearing from the podcast, you can tell that because.
So you got information from the podcast, and then you went and used that to judge your friend.
Yes, because that's because
then you made, in your own estimation, you made a judgment about your friend that they were bad.
Yes.
Based on
what I heard from this.
What specifically did you hear from this that had you think that person's bad? And I'd love to pull bad apart because we can label something good or bad.
You know what? We don't need to pull that apart. We all you and me understand what we are saying when we are using bad. And there's different levels of it. We don't need to pull it apart.
Okay.
That's another thing right there. Why are you trying to obfuscate the word bad? Bad can be
because
this is bad and this is bad. We can use the same word for both things.
If we're talking about the same kid we've been talking about for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. That kid is not someone I necessarily want influencing your life regularly.
And here's
I'd be really curious as to what would happen if he sat his ass down and watched some of these podcasts and listened to them and had a discussion about some of those and really understood a little bit of this concept outside of his own freaking ego, because he's bloody hell an ego.
And you understand?
Okay.
And you see how you're acting right now? Is this healthy? Is this healthy for you? Is this a healthy emotion?
This is
this healthy? Be very honest right now. Is this healthy?
Is it unhealthy? No. This is very important to understand. It's very important to understand.
Stop right now.
This concept.
You need to be able to control yourself and just stop talking for a second. Stop. We need to find this out. This that you're saying now, because I just saw you shut off for a second and start speaking. This concept that you need to understand what you just said. You just said this. This concept that you need to understand.
This concept that I'm talking about with regards to judging another individual is who do you want to hang around with and spend most of your time with. I came here and observed who you've become over the last year. Okay?
I would say it's a net positive. I've already talked about it.
Net positive, absolutely.
But
why am I here right now? Why am I here right now?
Should we share it?
So I am here to solve a problem.
There is a problem.
But
however,
had you been around somebody who didn't have multiple thousands in debt and didn't go to spas left and right when they didn't have money, didn't have a job, weren't doing the fucking basics of life.
You know who else wasn't?
I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
So stop. You're finding another problem.
No.
This is what you're doing.
And this is not blame, because I would love to help that kid. I would love to help him. But he is so far over on the ego, and it's not my job. You are my job right now because you are my son.
Right.
And I'm going to downright help you. And that's why I'm here doing this. And we're having this discussion in public because I think it is very important.
You're not even looking at me. You're not even looking at me.
I can look at you, but
then
they're going to look at my profile, and I don't necessarily have a beautiful profile.
But I can tell because when you're locked in and you're not present right now, what you just went off of, what you just went off, you don't need to bring up that. But what you just said, this fixing thing, you just ran a program that you've said these basic words, you said these things again, and you said it before, and I've seen it before. You're running a tape. As soon as you felt the switch, you're like, wait a minute, no. And you jumped onto that. And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about.
What? With regard?
Yes, with the kid, because you've done this before with other people, with other things, with other contexts.
Because I do have fear around you being influenced.
And
negatively. That's why
And it's a mind control.
Yes,
and
it
you're
is.
mind control.
That's why I am wanting or feeling like having Mark Passio's podcast influence you. And now I see that it has impacted you negatively. So do I move off of this and say, oh, I don't want you to learn.
Because
I don't want you to learn negative stuff. I don't want you to understand that people are fucking assholes. That there's some bad people.
Because that's not what you were doing. That's not what you were doing. And that's where you're wrong. You're saying, oh, I don't want you to learn this negative stuff. That's not what you were doing. We talked about this and why we're changing the discussion, because I was starting to think, well, there's no real reason for me to try to actually pursue my Olympic dreams. There's no.
That would be even more of a reason. That'd be even more.
If I kept reading the podcast, I was getting more and more hopeless of stopping. That's why.
Why? But why? I don't understand.
Because there's no reason. What's the point?
What do you mean there's
because
no reason?
if everyone's
it's even
mind
more
control,
of a reason.
No, there's less of a reason because everyone's mind control. So they don't exist. So it doesn't matter.
So if you're not, and everyone else is,
then why should I get?
Want to be even more
no,
successful?
Because why? Because then it is a straw man reward. It is just there because no one cares.
But that's not true, because you know that others care.
Okay, if we're talking about if everyone else is against it, why would you not keep wanting to push? Because the whole reason of it is,
but everyone is not against it. Everyone is not. They are just obfuscated. They are just in
so accept it, because they're not going to clear the clouds. They're not going to change.
Look,
we've talked about this.
I understand that, and why we're having this discussion is so that there can be an opportunity to have these types of things. I think about what's happening in Venezuela right now and the entire confusion. I think about how long it has gone on in Venezuela and how did this, I know that individuals. So what?
What can you possibly do about it? Not only that, what can you possibly get from it?
In this exact moment?
How is it it's causing you grief to think about these horrible things that are happening to these poor people? And that's affecting you right there. That's what the dark occultists are doing.
I am okay to be affected that way because I know I am part of something bigger than just me.
Fine.
So for me to just go and
do
my nails and go and do whatever.
Why not? Why not go do your nails?
I can do that.
Exactly.
I can do that.
Before you weren't. That's what was happening. That was what was happening. You weren't able to do both. I wasn't able to do both. It was one or the other.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
And
that's the thing.
That is
you
what
can have grief. Why would you suffer because someone else is suffering? Is that not a disservice to their suffrage? To then try to be empathetic to them and think, oh, I can understand what you're going through. If I was suffering, I wouldn't want pity from someone else suffering my way. I would want to suffer myself and let you have a good time yourself. If I'm hurt, I don't want you to get hurt so we can suffer together. I
don't think it's an all or nothing.
It's not an all or nothing.
I have been very all or nothing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was also all or nothing.
Right. And so that's what I'm trying to
Too much you and I would get, oh, this poor person. We need to suffer as well.
Which is the other side of the left brain, right brain.
Dumb.
And I'm not even saying the left brain, right brain extremes are the right way to describe it. It's a way to describe it.
Exactly.
And Passio has been describing things in ways that are different than the way I raised you with the very right brain ideas. So this is why I'm trying to bring some of this information. I understand.
Yes.
And that is a very important piece. And that is why I said from the beginning, I wanted to have these discussions with you, because I think it is very dangerous for anyone to go in and if they don't have a way to process this.
And there you go. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Because it's dangerous to do it because of the way that the information is presented. And if you don't have the right outlet or resource, stop.
Okay, and it could be with anything. It could be with anything.
Yes.
And do I sound like I'm trying to defend him? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying, I'm here right now is the same pattern of, it's like the same thing from the start. Like there's no progress. It's just resetting back again.
I think there's been a huge progress.
Yes, there has.
I have specifically learned so much more about you and understand more. And I have to then take this information back and go, what is it I'm really trying to help my sons understand? Fundamentally, natural law and I've taught you that from not the words, but from living it. But the other thing is authority, okay? Because ultimately the biggest mind control is authority. And I think you've just even said, which I think is brilliant, that you've been able to see this for yourself and unravel this yourself and quickly, that there is the process of, if there is, oh, got it. It just totally went away. It's gone. It's gone.
No.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I don't remember what I was saying.
The thing is now.
Oh, no, I do know.
Okay.
Okay. What I have to look at, what is it that I have actually been wanting you to know, to understand, to know about, to have a conscious awakening around? Because there's countless things I can share with you. Countless. I'm constantly studying something. I'm constantly reading something. And there's so many beautiful things to read, and lovely and just beautiful. And this one is dark. This is the side of things that I would rather not uncover and look at. And it's also an opportunity to delve into an area that I did not understand. And now that I do understand more of it, it's not that I'm pushing back against it. It's that I want to know. You know what? I don't even know. I don't even know. And I'm really curious. No, just let me finish. So after our discussion, I sat with what would be more effective. And there are other teachers out there, because I do think Passio is a teacher.
Yes.
And there are other teachers who are more effective. And so I think that there are more and better and more effective teachers than Mark Passio for you. The same, or the information that's presented can be presented in a more, we'll just call it vibration, higher frequency, higher vibration than Passio. Because you're right, he is chronically angry, chronically fear. Yeah.
First up, what you said earlier, you said, I want for you what you want. You want for your sons or for me to understand this. First up, what information, if you cannot explain, what information, what do you want me to get from these lessons? What is it?
That I should just distill it for you?
No, just tell me what it is. If you cannot tell me at least what the purpose is, if you cannot even explain it yourself, then what you're getting, then I
haven't even attempted, because I didn't want to.
What I'm hearing right now is, when you do this, is that when you want something else, is the same mind control as, oh, these parents want their kids to go to public school because they can teach the information. I know it, but I can't really teach it because I don't actually understand this.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. You see how it's the same parallel right there?
Yeah.
There is a parallel right there, and we have to admit that first.
Okay, so then let me give it to you in a nutshell, okay? Yeah. Let me give it to you right now.
What is a nutshell?
There is a fundamental belief based on that something outside of you is the author of you, authority of you. In any gradient, from someone who knows better of how you should bake the cake. And then we can go and justify and say, well, they've baked 5,000 cakes. They're a professional baker.
So who's wrong?
Right? Then we can go over here and we can say, well, this is the law, so you need to follow our law. And we say that you now need to pay this percentage to the government because this is what we say, and now we need to do that. So there's that. Then you need to show up on Sunday, and you need to go to church, and you need to pay your 10% tithe. And you see all of this. So these are the worldviews.
I want to say something.
And those are just a few, because money and all these other things that you would not think of because they're so obvious, but not obvious.
So let me say this then. All of that means absolutely nothing to me. All what you just said, to know that this and this, authority, author of you, gradient, grade of you. I can do the same thing that he did. I can take a word that has words mixed into it, and I can use them the same way, whether it is or is not based. That I can do the same thing. I can take a word. Wait, let me think of one. Let me see. I want to try to find a word just around here first. I want to see if I can I want to find one that would actually
understand. How about that?
Yeah. Under this person standing. Or under what it, wait, did he say that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So you're underneath.
Uh-huh.
What that means is you're underneath someone else's when they're standing, you're underneath them because based on what they're saying.
Yeah.
So-
How about what he talked about in 18? Individuality means undivided, not duality, aligned, individual
that
versus
so much.
culture.
And
He did that,
You
yes.
can do that with anything. You can do that with a lot. Not anything.
Well, that's what he
I won't-
said. That's
You can
why
do it with a lot.
words
What I'm saying is this
are a fundamental piece of mind control with words.
Fundamental. Dumb.
Yeah.
There's plenty of ways you can do that. And the thing is it really
He's just,
personal?
I feel,
yeah.
giving us an
I
opportunity
understand.
to look
but
and
what I'm
think
saying
of this.
is what you just told me there, you didn't actually give me any point. What have I already knew that. I already knew that authority is trying to tell you from the outside. That was what we got from the day one, which is there's something outside of you fighting for your attention. You did not tell me anything new. What you just told me, I already understood because you shared that with me a long time ago. That you need to be vigilant against the things outside of you trying to control what your mind and what you put your attention on.
Okay.
So why? What next? What next? What's the actual lesson? Because that's what I'm saying.
So there are, okay, good point. I mean,
here's
it really.
Here's another question. I am fully fine continuing doing this, but before taking away, like, if I don't, and I'll use this again because it was such a prevalent thing, like the video games, taking that away and then adding this extra stressful thing. Why is there all or nothing back and forth? Like
With regards to what? Because
if I'm looking at this, okay, this is how I like this is an idea of life that I was thinking for a while. Oh, this is how I need to be to match maybe your expectation, whatever. But like this idea that you share with me. Okay, I wake up early. I have this certain electrolyte drink. I go out and do a run. Then I read this book. Then I do this. Then no, I'll be more specific. Then I'll read chapters of this book. Then I'll go do whatever I'm doing with my energy to earn money. And then I'll train hard so I can get better. And then I'll go to sleep early so I can wake up early and I'll do my DMP and I'll do this. And then I'll listen to this podcast. But none of it has any substance to it. And I'm becoming an NPC in my own in my own version of being an NPC. Of waking
well, stop it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I had to stop. Because the things that I was doing that made me individual and sure, so what if these cards have no value to anyone else or no value at all to making me the best version of myself? That is still part of me. And if I shut that off and say, you know what, no more card games, no more computers,
Okay.
no more of this.
We did talk about this, and this is an important thing that I'm going to say again. There is a concept of chop wood, carry water.
Yes.
This basic fundamental, creating your own livelihood, making your bed, making sure your space is clean, freaking cleaning your own toilet, and or making enough money so you don't have to clean your own toilet. Those things have to be in before you go dick around playing video games, doing all this bullshit that you waste time doing, and then charging up credit cards and doing all this. This is what is important for you to get because you're too young.
The lesson was
originally
the lesson
was.
I
just want to slap you across the face and just.
No, the lesson was no, not at all. I see that. I don't think you heard what I was saying. You didn't get my point because you went back to the other extreme again of no, because it's a distraction. You're not doing any of all what you're doing because do you understand what, or do I need to clarify a little bit more?
Go ahead, clarify.
Okay, because what you saw was, you saw this guy's, and we talked about this. This woman's husband would, every weekend, he would play video games with his friends, or he would go to his basement and play card games or whatever. But he wasn't beating his wife. He wasn't beating his kids. He was making money and supporting them. He was there 5 days of the week, and then 2 nights a week, he would go do his own stuff. But why was it, oh my God, I see you being that man-child, taken care of. Well, it's also her perspective. How do we know that she wasn't cheating on him? How do we know that she wasn't trying to take the kids away?
Who cares? Yeah,
exactly.
any of
Who
that.
cares?
So,
it doesn't matter.
Again,
and then that was your own personal.
Look at your own house. It's like go look in your own freaking mirror.
Yes.
That is all I'm asking you to do. Is at the end of the day, go look in the mirror. If you can be
absolutely, and you notice,
and not just you. I'm
No, I
saying
know.
all of us.
I know what you're saying.
We need to
yeah.
be able to go and look in the mirror and tell the truth to the person in the mirror. And I don't think anybody on this planet can do that.
And this is what I will say. And this is something that I will
And
say for me.
the reason
for me,
they can't
for
is
me,
because we've
what I
got
can do specifically. What I can say
obfuscation.
specifically. These basic fundamentals, cleaning your toilet, cleaning your bed, doing all this. I'm going to say this and I need full clarity without you just freaking out because you're going to freak out a little bit. Why? What is the reason to?
To clean a toilet? To clean your space? To make
Because
your bed?
I want to live in it and I want to live in a clean environment, right? That's why. Because I want to live in a clean, healthy environment, correct?
Yeah, that'd be.
So where is the
smart.
part of me wanting to live? If I don't have the fun reasons to live, then I don't need to clean it because I'm not going to live around it. This is where we went back to. This is the same thing with
To
training.
me,
Without
that's
freaking out,
psycho.
without freaking. Exactly.
That's stupid.
Exactly.
Like,
right?
what?
No.
How
But
did
you
we
see what I'm
get?
saying?
How did we get from there to there?
No, because
to me, this is like what? Where are
chop
we?
wood, get the water, right? Because you need to have firewood so you survive. You need to have the water.
Yeah, you have
Why
to
are
do
you
your
doing-
basics.
You have to do the basics so you can do what? What after the basics? What?
Yeah, so you can live your
Live the
life
life
and,
that
and
your life
actualize
that you
your
want to-
potential.
Exactly. And who is to say someone else says this is your potential or not? And also, but okay, are you starting to understand what I'm saying? Okay, what is the point? Okay, I'm not going to make my bed because it's always going to be messy. Because it's going to be messy. I'm going to
I
sleep in it
hear all
anyway.
that.
You hear this, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? When I'm not there, because I'm going to be in my room and I want to keep it clean when I come in, I like seeing it nice and made. That's why I made my bed, because I like it when it looks nice and clean.
Yep.
Because I'm existing and I like seeing that clean. And I like going in there because I'm going to go in there when I play with my cards or when I play with the Legos or whatever. Or like if I'm laying down because I want to take a nap, or all this, I want to lay on my clothes, or all this. This is why I'm going to make my bed. But if I decide, you know what? These toys are for kids. These are for children. I don't need this. Then who's to say that, well, I mean, honestly, I'm going to just, the whole purpose, like if I just strip it away, my bed, I lay on it, I get off of it. That is all I do on it. It doesn't need to look good. That is its purpose. I lay on it, I get off of it.
This is a really interesting conversation. It
Are
really
you starting
is.
to like see where I'm coming from, like with this?
Well,
'Cause
yes, but
it's similar.
I think
Same thing
we're
with, like-
getting so lost in the weeds. I think maybe not. Maybe this
in
is
the weeds.
Yeah,
The
because
weeds.
it's like all off. Like, how are we over
I see
here
the
on this-
connection. I see the connection to everything because this is what was happening all last week. Because I was waking up early, going to camp, working, coming back home, eating, sleeping, waking up. But the moments weren't fun. In the moment, I was not having fun because I need to make a smarter decision, the optimal decision.
Wait.
Why did I
You
go?
weren't having fun because you weren't present in the moment, I believe. And
Yes,
that's the one
exactly.
thing. It's
Because
like,
and it's super easy to lose presence when I just
so
do
where
the
are you if
optimal
you're
path.
not present? That's the $1 million
Where
question.
am I? I'm in my head. I'm stuck up here thinking, oh, am I making the most of this training
so
right
what
now?
is the number one thing that we have worked with you since you were 12? Everything with regards to it. Level 4, we did raise your inner game.
Okay.
We did those pieces where who are you at fundamentally?
Yeah,
Who
but this-
are you at your core? You got to go
Yes.
back to that.
No,
right?
I get this, but that's why, because
But you are existing in a universe.
so
and a
here's the
con-
thing. This is
a
where the mindset
construct
comes from.
that
They
is
say,
collaboratively.
stop for a second.
created
And I'll
with
say
a-
this: 10,000 hours to master something. Is that what they say?
Keep going. Yep.
Okay, so 10,000 hours to master something.
Okay.
How many people hear that and think, okay, time to just forget about these 10 hours and get to the end? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And it's not about even thinking, oh, I'm just going to do an hour of practice, an hour of training to get me an hour closer. Someone's calling you, but you can answer them later. But you're getting like 10,000 hours. So I need to do 10,000 individual hours. I'm going to turn my brain off and just go through the motions. But no, you have to be present and having fun every second. Every single second you're doing it. You don't need to, you can just message right now.
Can you message you?
Awesome.
Okay.
So you need to be present for each second of what you are doing and making sure that you're living it to the fullest. Because if you take a training night or you take a workout and you're just putting your headphones on and you're putting music on and you're just like, okay, going through the motions, whatever, I could do this with my sleep. I just wish I could skip right through this because I don't want to do it anyway, but I need to get to
I
the
think
end.
most people are living
That
their
is
life
what's
like
happening.
that.
And
And-
even when they're super productive, even when they're super efficient and they super healthy people, at least according to what we say.
And to me, this is the whole point, is that Passio is talking about This is what's happening. People are disconnected from their head, their heart, and their actions. Their mind,
Yes.
their heart, and their
Yes, 'cause
actions,
it's
their
not in-
thoughts,
it's
their
not in the
emotions,
cor-
their
yes.
actions. Okay, that's it. At the end of the day, that's what he's talking about. And then he talks about morality, which is basically freaking first, do no harm, people.
We don't even need to talk about
Which-
morality first, because in the first place, if you were present, you wouldn't be doing immoral things. When people commit crimes or do anything like that, think about how many people are honestly, and it's been glorified. TV shows glorify, like, oh, you have this super fancy plan and everything.
And
But
what
people
is
who
TV
do-
show?
people
so,
who commit
so I have to
crimes-
say this right now. What is TV show? It is telling a
Yes.
vision. Right there, it has been
And
put
stop-
there, and that is the point. Is now wake up, because many people knew that box coming into their
And this
room,
is why.
into their home
And
in the
this is why.
50s and the
This
60s,
is why.
and
And
this
stop.
is mind
Stop.
control. Prior to that was radio. So look, it is through
This
the
is the
words,
thing.
and
And
Passio
this
was
is why.
talking
And
about
this
that.
is what you have to. And this is where the middle ground is. I'm going to watch this, and I'm present every single second I am looking at this. If people were actually present when they were watching something, not just vegging out, zoning out, or doing anything else, they'd be like, wow, that was 20 minutes. That felt like a long time. I don't want to do it anymore. That was all I needed.
Yeah.
Think about when we go to a movie theater, the difference between watching a movie in home or at a theater.
Right.
At home, well, it's easy to do other stuff. You have food and like all this. So it's fun, like a little whatever. At a theater, I do not want to do that again. I sat down for 2 hours straight. I was completely watching it. I did not need the 2 hours. I didn't need 2 hours of it. I could have done the same thing for 20 minutes and been done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We are living.
If
Absolutely.
if I'm playing
Absolutely.
a video game,
I mean,
and
yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm active there, I don't need, if I am present, I am choosing, I am present in each moment of me choosing. I am doing this. It is not me out, vegging out, play again, play again, play again. It is much harder to be controlled when you actually are like thinking straight on, when you're looking right there. You're connected with what you are doing. And when you're connected with what you're doing, it's a lot easier to follow morality. It's a lot easier to follow the truth. This is, and that's the thing that Mark, I haven't heard him say too much about like specifically, but that's the thing. If you want the truth, if you want like the truth to set you free or whatever, you want morality, you want people to follow that, you want people to follow the natural laws. Well, the first thing is they need to find for themselves what it means to be present. Think about them there. When the difference between them being present and even when even when one of them is successful and making a lot of money, is he present?
Yeah. So
it's hard to say. It's hard to say because
let's come back to this moment. Let's come back to what our intention is, and with the knowledge that we have right now, with this new data.
Yeah.
Let's make
I have a great
new
analogy.
decision.
I feel
Okay,
as well.
good. Share.
I'll say this because
Okay.
no, going forward from this, look, after everything I learned from the past week, when I cooked that food, when I cooked that chicken pot pie,
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, oh man, I just need food for this. What's the reason of taking 30 minutes to eat when I'm going to only be like eating for 15 minutes? What's the reason of doing this? But then,
You mean cooking for 30 minutes?
wait a
Cooking pot
minute,
pie?
it's fun to do this. I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
I can control everything about it. I'm present to myself. I know what's going to happen. I am actively doing something. And now when I eat it, I can take more time to eat because I'm enjoying it. This is what I mean.
That's a huge win.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
how I want to live life. No matter what I am doing, no matter what I'm doing, I can do anything. And that's how I want to live.
That's the realization
what I want to
had,
do.
however you got to
That's
that.
what I want to, that's how I enjoy.
Power.
That's what I love.
Because you're doing what you're doing
while you're doing
it. And that is a definition that I learned from Hubbard.
And even when I put a video on in the background, listening, I was not distracted. I had it there and I was present with what I was doing. And then when I had a minute, okay, I can be present with this. And then I come back to this.
Yeah.
And I was still present the whole time. It's not like I was doing two things at the same time.
That's
how I was enjoying it. That's how I love it. I felt great about it. And I feel amazing about it. It was successful.
So that's incredibly
great
valuable.
Evening. That's how I want to live every single day. If every evening was like that, I could be happy. Like I would be, I could be happy forever, like without sadness at all. I could just live eternally happy if I could recreate that. If I had that moment, like that, I was thinking about, like, yeah, that'd be perfect. If I could just like, because I was thinking for myself,
what
like living
you
alone.
just described is being connected.
Yes, that's what I want.
Integrated.
That's what I want.
Head, heart, and action.
And this is the
and
thing.
That's all that I believe Passio has been trying to communicate and articulate.
That's
what he wants for everyone. And he saw that dark cultists were trying to do exactly opposite, which is to fragment everyone.
Yes. And that's the sad thing. And this is what I mean, where even if you are doing these exact same things, like it could have been so easy for me to do that, but just tone out completely.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm cooking so I can eat because I need to survive. That's it.
Yeah.
Because, and actually, here's where I'll try to like draw like some lines here. So we have point A and point B of I need to eat. This is the food, and this is me cooking it. This is where I'm starting. No food.
Yeah.
How many people go from here to here? No food. I need food to eat. That's why.
Yeah, they do. That's why they drive through fast foods or whatever's the easiest way.
And look at how big. Look at how far the distance is of you cooking and making it yourself, and like preparing it and being present, and choosing what you want to eat.
Yeah.
Look at all the substance that you're missing. If you just go from point A, I need food. I have food. I ate.
Yeah.
I need to sleep. This is what I'm saying.
This is a very, very important discussion.
Bed is unmade. Yeah. Bed is made.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or I guess actually, if anything, that's another example. There's 3 points now. It's 2 points. It loops. My bed is not made. My bed is made. And it loops. My bed is made. I make my bed. I sleep in it. It's no longer made. I have to make it again. And then it's loop, and it keeps going over and over again. And this is the issue. When it overlaps right here, when it's no longer existing, it's bed is made, bed is not made, bed is made, bed is not made. Where is the substance there? Where is the middle ground? All the space between it. All the space of me being present there. That is what is so important to understand.
That's
everything.
That's life. You've just found the Holy Grail.
That's how it feels. It feels great, right? It feels amazing.
Even when there is deep loss, deep exhilaration, deep bliss, deep pain, if you can be fully present with it and be completely honest, truthful, in alignment, totally true, and feel all of it and not run away from it or stuff it down or substitute something or obfuscate it or whatever. You're just fully seeing it, feeling it, even in the most painful, even in the most blissed out times. That's when you found the Holy Grail. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's Christendom, but that's the closest thing. That is pure alignment of head, heart, and action. If you're present and telling the truth, and then you're taking an action based on that, not based on some other thing, or being fragmented, or being mind controlled, or whatever. And then all of those things that you just got through saying with regards to, this last hour discussion, all of those are just labels of all that outside of the pure alignment of your pure power. Mm-hmm. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's actually a win overall.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Even earlier, the whole discussion was good.
Yeah. No, it was very enlightening last night, and I thought, well, I like this. There's a kid named Corey Eldicott, and he's just a sweetheart of a teacher of some of this knowledge.
All of it's great. That is hidden, but some people need different ways, but the whole point is you can't just it doesn't matter who the teacher is if you're just taking it and then immediately switching you can't be too empty. You can't be a completely empty glass ready to insert all the information. There needs to be a little bit of a baseline.
Right. And what I'm looking at is that we need a balance of this,
yes,
which is using the trivium method to balance the inflow, being able to process this, and then seeing how it outputs on your life. Mm-hmm. And I think that now what you're starting to see is the actual expression, the output of some of this knowledge, of some of this actual understanding, not just the knowledge, not just the data, but actual understanding and integration for yourself. And then you can go, oh, that is not what I am interested in. I don't like that negativity and that anger and that spewing out of, that the whole freedom movement's fucked up and they're all clowns and they're all, blah, 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 whatever. It's like, you have more compassion of that. And so I appreciate that. And so I think this is a really important breakthrough. And
yeah, I feel great about it. I was so blissful like that.
Especially after 17 when it was really a painful one. So.
Well, it was also like, if I thought to myself, like I could, because a lot of it is, I mean, what is the purpose of living day by day?
That's the question. But that's an important question.
It is an important question.
It's a valuable, useful question to ask.
If you cannot find literally, you don't even need to have an actual answer. If you have a feeling, you need to have a feeling.
Yes, and I'm afraid
this is why.
Folks are asking this question, and they're coming up with an answer that says, I'm not worth living. I'm going to commit suicide.
Exactly. And you know what else it is? It's not even, and the worst thing is not even committing suicide, because I will say this, them taking that self is their choice and their final stand. Sure, they might have been mind controlled into doing it, but I can at least think to myself, okay, they are now free from their body. It pains me more when there are people who can't do that, who won't do that, but also can't push themselves. They're just in limbo. That is the worst for me. And that's something where...
So you cannot take that on. That's not useful or effective.
No, of course not.
And it shoots you out of present.
But that's like what we talked about. So in Dante's Inferno, right? Hell, limbo, heaven.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's a lot different. Or like in this reality, limbo is worse than hell and heaven because there's nothingness. Hell, you can at least be present to what's going on, but in a negative way. Heaven, you're present this way, but limbo, there's nothing.
It negative? Are in a negative way because it is judged as negative, or it is what it is?
And I'm not saying
response to
life and death. We have life and death. That's actually what it is right now. It's not heaven and hell. We have life and death.
So you're either living or moving more towards life, or you're moving towards death. Is that what you're saying? Or you're moving straight in the middle of limbo, where you're not existing either way. Where you could live in one moment, or you could die in one moment. But is it not? It's death of something, but your body's still alive, and your mind's still working. Like that, you see, that's the hard pure
part.
Disintegration.
You're not moving towards either. You're not moving left or right. You're moving three-dimensionally this way. You're stuck. You're not moving towards I am getting sick and old, so I'm going to take care of myself in my old age, and I'm going this way now. Or I'm getting healthy, I'm getting strong and bigger and bigger. I'm looking for the improvement. Straight down the middle. You could die one day, or you could live the next day. You're waking up not knowing if you're going to live or not. That's the middle ground. That's what I'm saying. This is the ability to be present and to make a choice. But so many are not making choices. They're doing it by default, and they're on a robotic rat race type of thing. That's what the conveyor belt is. That's what I'm saying. That's where it's right in the middle of there. Right. And that's what I'm saying. There is something in the middle. The only purpose of what Passio was saying is he's just in his own way trying to communicate that. So going off on a round and about this. No, I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. That's what the thing is. Here, put your hands up here, because I want to just show this, because this is just a great example. I'm going to have to use as much as I can. You put your hands up like this, right? Both sides like this. So we have one path. Which direction am I moving towards, right? Am I moving this direction or this direction? If they're in the middle, you think, oh, it's not possible. They have to be moving one direction. You don't see the movement, but you are moving. You're moving this way, or you're moving this way. Right. Because we can't perceive, are you moving healthy, or are you making harmful choices? And I'm saying, actively you're making a choice that's bad for you. That's what we're saying, okay, killing yourself or poisoning, or doing something, looking for something outside of you to feel alive in this sense. Something that's what we're saying here. So am I doing something that's am I harming another? Am I stealing another? Am I doing this and this and this, right? Am I this kind of choice? Or am I doing the good choices, going the right way, being a healthy person? Or am I right in the middle? Well, I think that and moving this direction of people don't even know, because they're not even present at all. That's what I'm saying. They're still so buried in the miasmas. They're so buried in the false ideas, the religion, the authority. They're moving, but they're not going anywhere. They're moving, but they're not going anywhere. And that's why I'm saying, at some point, it is useful for someone to avail themselves of this knowledge, to understand that there is a specific cloud or obfuscation or mind control or worldviews that have been put forth and propagated, and we are perpetuating them. Each of us are,
And it behooves us, if possible, especially if you know that there's something to be done and you can influence another, to take action to learn this. I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but I'm saying there is definitely, I have grown exponentially as a result of learning about this, and I will continue. And I do think differently, but I also study many, many other things. I have multiple things that I'm studying, and I continue to. This body of knowledge, I would say you could probably move on from if you feel like this is not workable. But I think that the worldviews where he lays it out is worth going through.
I will
think the
I will
knowledge-
finish the worldviews, and I'll keep going now that I have a new way of moving.
I would also
And I have a
go
new way of
through
thinking from it.
Dennis's PDFs
Yeah, the
because
PDFs are great.
you don't have to listen to the negativity, because you can just read it and remove the emotion from it, and you just read the knowledge. Like, for example, right
I
here,
try to do that. Yeah.
he says,
This is the idea of nature versus.
I'm not saying everyone comes into this world as angels either, but they don't come into this world as demons. People come into, this is the idea of nature versus nurture that we're going to get into here a little bit. And this can often set off a firestorm of hot debates and, very, very deep-rooted opinions. Well, there's very little actual human nature that a being is immediately born into.
That's the thing I would say, actually.
Okay.
This is a curious thing. How many people, you said that you knew that you knew, like, you met me before you saw my spirit at least before I came out.
Yes.
How many people think that they were forced into the world by their parents? Oh, I didn't want to be born. You brought me into the world. It wasn't my choice.
Well, that's probably also
That's a lot of
a perpetuated belief.
It's a perpetual belief
right?
right there versus like this whole connection of everything, right?
Right.
That's what people come into this world. They are, maybe there is whatever the afterlife or the pre-life, whatever.
And that's a big thing of what Passio talks about, is that
you
parents
force
really
out
F
there.
up their kids. And it is true.
Yes.
But those parents
And-
were kids that were, right?
that
It's
were
the
also
whole
messed up.
cycle.
And the
So
thing is, it's not even like you can't
where
say,
can someone take responsibility? That's why I say each of us has to take responsibility for ourselves and our own youth, our own children.
yes.
This is what's vital. So if you don't want to do it with your child, and then you do it yourself, process it, go through it, understand it, and then ensure that you raise young men and women,
Share it in the way that you share it.
that they
share
understand.
what you got from it. And
Get
then
them
give
off the
out.
bloody phones. Get them off these smart devices.
But not that.
Stupid
Not that.
devices. Yes.
Well, yes, and not just getting them off that, but having them present with what they're doing.
Having
That is the most important
100%
thing.
being present.
It's the difference
with
between
everything.
using
Correct.
YouTube Shorts and using your phone to go do a geocache.
Right.
Let's go.
Using it
let's
as a
look at all
tool
this stuff.
versus you being
Not even using it as a tool.
user
Oh, I
of
want to
tool.
use this for fun. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do
Right.
this.
But what do we see? So many out there.
Why are they doing it?
Infants,
Exactly.
babies on there, and they're programmed and
And they're not
literally.
actually, they're not, because the thing is,
deep
they're not able to
programming
be
their
present
brains.
yet there. Because you can't, the thing is, if you cannot, I think, in my opinion, if you cannot ask somebody who's watching a YouTube video or YouTube Shorts, if you cannot ask them, if you ask them a question and they cannot respond and they cannot tell you what they were watching, what they got from it, one takeaway, or 3 videos before, if they were scrolling, what was the third to last video? If they cannot tell you, they shouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
If they
So
can say,
let me just tell you something. There is a specific there are billions spent on that to keep you
Yes.
connected to your phone.
That's
So
what I'm
there
saying.
are dark people,
yes,
dark
absolutely,
people
but that's,
actively doing this.
but this is what I'm saying. Where if you can ask them, what was like the 5th video you just watched? Oh, it was really cool. Actually, I watched like this guy carved a spoon. He took this certain type of wood. He carved.
Good.
A spoon
Can
out
you
of it.
now carve a spoon?
Well, maybe you know what? Maybe that will inspire me because I haven't met a kid who can say the first thing. The first step of saying, "Oh, this is the video that I watched. It was really cool. This is how I saw it." Having a discussion about it, sharing it with me.
Right.
Those kind of kids will get inspired to actually do it. Moving on.
And there are some like that, and
Exactly,
and so
and
it's
that's
not
where
a
it's
blanket
like
statement,
awesome. That's totally
but
good.
there are actions.
But there's too many easy where it's like, oh, what was the last video? I have no idea why I saw 10 seconds. I just watched it. I just scrolled the next one. I have no idea.
So
what
what
the
are they
last one
doing?
was.
I mean, that's what's so.
That's the thing.
This
You
is.
have to ask them like, okay, you have to be present. You're gonna watch this 30-second video, fine, but you need to be able to then tell me after what you just got from it, what the purpose was.
But this
Sure.
then goes into the higher piece of knowledge that Passio talks about, which is your attention. Your
Yes.
attention is the energy. Your
And if you
energy
can
and
get-
attention
if you-
is feeding
Here's what I would
that.
say. Here's what I would say.
Literally like a battery
If you can
feeding the
use-
matrix.
If you remember what your when you forget something, I think that is the saddest thing, when your attention's been stolen from you.
Yes.
When you don't, and not as like, oh, it was when I was like a long time ago, I forgot what this was. Like I can't remember the slight details. I'm saying when you like for an hour you're watching something and you don't have anything from it, that's when your attention was stolen. If you watched a 3-hour movie from the Hunger Games or Avatar or anything like this, and you're like, wow, it was really deep rooted. It was like cool to see how like the parallels with the Native Americans and like looking at how the cultures themselves, like even the native tribes themselves are also at war and all this. Like, okay, I don't think your attention was stolen then, because you at least you got something from it and you were able to have a discussion after. Not even just a discussion, you kind of like you had your own idea, your own opinion about it. Like, you know, this movie, like if someone says this movie was bad, they just watched a 2-hour movie. This movie was bad. Why? Well, for instance, let's talk about this. Like the filmmaking, it was a bit rushed. The directing, the scripts, and this, and plus, then we talk about the story. Like the story itself is like it was okay, but it's been done before. And it was like, eh. And like after all these totals, like the story was okay. Everything else was like just kind of meh. I didn't like it, so that's why I think the movie was bad. But if you say, "Oh, dude, this was garbage," why? It was just crap. That's when I think like, oh, what are you doing here? You played video games for 10 hours straight. What the hell are you possibly doing? Well, actually, I did this and this. And like, if you can tell me the whole 10 hours, I have less of an issue with like, oh, I just did this for 10 hours. What the hell? It's just, and it goes the same thing with doing something healthy. You just worked out for 10 hours straight. What the hell are you doing? Oh, well, actually, I did this and then I took a break here and then I went and did yoga for this hour. And then like for the next 30 minutes, I did cardio. And then like, I did like a mix back and forth. I really liked it and I enjoyed doing it versus, oh, I just did bicep curls for 45 minutes. And then I did reverse bicep curls for 80 minutes. And then I did like bench press for 40 minutes. It was like, oh, you know, I push it, but I didn't really feel, after like the first hour, I didn't really feel tired. So I decided to switch into more, you know, body work. And then I really felt it. So I had to take it a lot slower. So it took an extra 2 hours.
Yeah. But we want to watch. I mean, I love this. I love all of this discussion. I think it's valuable. I think it's useful.
This substance right here from point A to point B, the middle ground, going from A to B, like a wrinkle in time.
Yeah.
You remember what they said with the clothes? How they talk about the time travel, the teleportation and everything. 2 angles with the cloth. When you fold it together, it's the same space, but it's just folded together.
Right.
And you know what? That's a lesson that a lot of people didn't think about. This part right here, skipping it is sad. It's not good. Because then you don't have the journey. You don't have the goods of, oh man, we're going all the way down super fast. We're going to get there all the way. Oh, we're in the cavern now. This is going to be a lot of hard. This is going to be really hard. And now and the final stretch and the final stretch, and then you make it there.
Yeah. And
think about who you are because you went through the escapes. Versus, think about the Donner dinner party. These are horrible. It's like I picked it. No. Major Powell, Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
There we go.
Too. Okay.
It was still rough, but better. What would have happened if that group just was here? Here's the Grand Canyon. There we go. They all went back home. They all had happy families. Nothing happened. There was no story from it.
Exactly. I mean, this is the
hardships, tragedy, all the stuff. And then they came out the end, and now they will be cemented. And now Cavaliers, next up, explorers, next up, look back.
So then we look back. Where are we? Well, we're deep in the cavern. And so we don't have to look that we've been black-pilled. We don't have to look that we're deep
and you know what?
in the dark side.
Cavern, here's another thing.
This is like, let's find out.
Downhill early when you're like, oh, it's really, really fast, going super smooth. Then you get flat, you're here, and you're just plateauing.
Yeah. The
plateau can go on forever, and it's okay. And you need to have fun doing that. If you're always waiting for when is it going to get better? When's it going to get better? No, enjoy this. You need to have this part.
So the answer then is
you need to enjoy this, because if you go on infinitely
like this. So how do you enjoy it?
You have to be present, and you have to be present to yourself. Not just present as in like, wow, I'm getting beaten up right now. This is tragic. That's different.
Well, you can also look at this and be connected to that moment. It's like, wow.
But like, if you are always stuck,
this is really
and this is the thing, like, if I am always stuck, training hard, always doing this, always waiting for my breakout result, that's going to be a torture. But if I'm
Because you're
enjoying
not there,
every
you-
step, I'm not worried about this. I'm enjoying every
and
step.
you are pushing
I
and
could
doing
live
the actions
forever
to
like
push.
this.
Right, but
You
you
need to
also
be
still
living
want to
day by
push,
day.
especially because you
Of
are
course you
wanting
want
to
to
get
push.
better. So you
That's the
practice
push.
in
Exactly.
a way.
You want to push and push and push. You want to get better and better and better. I love this, but this is better. But you need to first have, I love this.
Yep.
And I could do this
Good.
forever, and I want better. And if I fall down here, I still love this. And a lot of people don't have that.
Right.
They think that this is horrible. This is, if I'm flat, this is bad. This is bad. I need to get out of this immediately. Oh, I'm doing better. And then, wow, I'm even lower now. No, this needs to be rock bottom, and you need to love rock bottom.
So what would you suggest then to somebody? So this was the
Somebody
Number
first
18.
and foremost, just go around understanding why you're doing something, and think about, like, you know what? I want to multitask. I want to eat while I watch something. Let's be a little bit more present and understand how many bites it took to eat this, or what I'm eating, and what am I watching, and let's think about this. You don't even need to like do a journal or anything, but you need to at least look, because this is the easiest thing. Because a lot of people will do it, right? They're eating cereal while watching TV. After you finish your program, when they go to the ads, just mute it for a second. You can leave the ads still playing and just think, what did I get from this deal? What just happened? How could I make that? What would have been better for that moment? Would I have rather had a recliner for my feet? Would I have rather had a different drink? Would I rather eaten something different? Would I rather have like sat
I
like
think
this?
that no one wants to spend time evaluating, processing, and making a better choice.
And that's what I'm saying.
Because they're on to
start
the next
easy.
thing. That's what
I'm saying.
And they're missing the cycle,
Exactly.
the trivium of
So
the cycle.
that's the next time that somebody does something, the next time you do something, literally anything, take 1 minute, 60 seconds to just go, would I do that again? Yes? Okay.
So
Easy to ask you, would you do
very
this again?
useful to process.
Literally the easiest thing. Would you do this again? Yes or no? Yes? Awesome. And it can be the first thing you say. I don't want to say, I'm not going to use this. I just ate a tub of ice cream. Would I want to do that again? Yeah, probably. I will. Probably in the future. Okay, well, there's at least something there. There's at least more than you just eating it going on with life.
Yeah.
Then you eat it again, like,
oh, and
probably not
without
for a
saying
while.
You're punishing yourself for doing that.
Exactly,
I was bad,
exactly.
I was good.
Would
It
I
was
do
just
that
like,
again?
Would I do that again?
Yes or no? Well, am I going to do that again?
Is that useful
Honestly?
for me to do again? Is that effective, especially related
That's hard
to my
to do.
goals
That's
or
the
what I
next step.
want
Those
in
are
my
the
life?
next steps. Those are the next steps.
Those
The
are
first
important
step
steps.
Those are important steps, but what's the point of having these important steps if you don't at least start? You need to at least start, and you need to be a master of the basics first.
Speaking of that, so
That
you
was
said
long
you wanted a
episode.
short one.
I know.
Yep.
That was very,
So
very
look,
good discussion. Very good.
there looks like an eyeball on there and someone watching, and I'm really curious who that is, because I sent a message to Dennis letting him know. And
you know what? I'm not. Well, this is like this thing right here. They can watch anonymously and think about this for themselves. They don't have to interact or say anything.
Yeah, totally fine. Absolutely.
And that's something I like. That's why I had a lot of issues. I didn't want to start doing things. Like, remember when you wanted us to do singing lessons with that lady?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that meeting because, like, oh, but if I don't want to do, because like I'll feel bad because because then she'll know me and then I'll know her. Like, oh, it feels bad. I don't want to disappoint that person. But
well, so right there, that's something just freeze frame that and go, listen to the words you used. I don't want to disappoint that person.
exactly.
Where did that come from? Because that's.
Or I don't want to embarrass myself. Or I don't want to
embarrass myself.
I want to kind of say.
So those are things like.
And this,
You
how many
don't want
times
to stay hidden.
have you
Okay,
watched
good.
a
Like,
live stream? How many times have you watched a video where they do a contest and you didn't enter it? What's to lose? What's not to lose? If you watch this YouTube channel every week and they're doing a giveaway, why not do it? You know you're going to watch them whether you win or lose. They're not going to care if you win or lose. They're not going to care if you enter or not. Why not just go for it? Why not make a comment on a video? Because a lot of the people who comment are NPCs and just say it's like, oh, whatever. But why not make something and say, hey, I really like this. Just why not? Just throw it out there. Oh, because no one's going to see it. Oh, what if someone says it's bad? Why not? Why not just go for it? That's actually one good thing about the anonymous aspect of online is you can make an account that has nothing to do with you, and you can share your views and see if you and find like-minded people. which I think you can look at the positively. You look at Reddit, look at all the forums, all the trolls, all the negative people. Oh, I can hide behind my keyboard. Well, it's tragic because you could have also done it the other way. I have this view and I'm scared of sharing it in person because I live in a very conservative neighborhood or they have different views than me. But online, oh, these people agree with me. Also, I like to share and like, okay, build a relationship. Okay, let's go meet up. There you go. Why not?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. Any negative thing. That's not true. Lots of things that are perceived as negative or have a negative following can be done positively if you are present and you are choosing what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like I've shifted to with regards to Passio. I never took him negatively. I still don't necessarily take him that way in terms of the usefulness of his information. I think he's definitely got some things that he needs to work on for himself. That's my opinion.
And the hard thing is for him is I understand it because he's been doing this how many years? What was that? 2015?
When he first did it, 2010, I think he started. Yeah, so 15 years, 16 years now.
And you look at the world, the saddest thing is, okay, if I look at a video game, if I look at Fortnite, when it came out in 2017, and I look at it now, oh my God, it's barely recognizable. If I look at Magic cards that came out in 1998, before I was born, I look at cards that came out today, or next week, or whenever they come out next. There's a lot of change. You can look at all this history of this change. The fact is, Mark's stuff has been here for 15, 16 years. And it's still applicable now. And some might say, well, that's timeless wisdom right there. That's true, but he's not trying to be wise. He's not trying to share wisdom here. It's not like Sun Tzu's Art of War or any of the teachings from Buddha or anything. What he's saying is still applicable today, and that's a bad thing.
That's why he's so angry.
That's why he's angry. Right. Because he was never trying to be a scribe where his quotes would last.
Right. He was just trying to wake people up from the lock and the key that people are, chaining themselves.
Imagine if we look at something from it's actually super easy to say it. Imagine if we look at how to change a car from the 1800s when the little first buggies came out. Or the first little scooty things, like with the motors, like the whatever, like the that little wooden wheel cars, like the little.
Yeah, but see, we can't even go there because
that's what I'm saying. Like that's
we know we are so inverted. Like everything today. I'm sorry, it's inverted.
Listen to the example. You're taking it at face value right now.
Yep.
Or you're actually sorry.
And I want to wrap
you're not taking it at face value. This is a great example of obfuscation. You just complicated so much. We're backwards. Nope. Look at the face value.
Yeah.
Simple.
Okay.
This little cart and buggy right here. This little electric buggy.
Okay.
You cannot read a manual and that apply to a car from nowadays.
Right.
That's similar to it because it's present. It was made for the present moment. Mark's stuff was made for that moment. In 2015, because he was trying to say, guys, we need to wake up now. And then 15 years later, he has to say the exact same things. We can listen to it. And we see history repeating itself. 15 years ago, there was an oil spill. Last year, there was an oil spill here.
Right.
That's why I'm saying it's bad that he's having to do this for so long. That's why he's driving him insane, because he's being forced.
Yeah.
He's being forced to do the exact same things, which is what insanity is.
Yeah.
The dark occultists, you know what? They're driving him insane.
Well.
They're making him do the exact same thing over and over again.
Yeah. So okay.
I know it's
Let's go back to the purpose. So 18, there were some valuable, very useful pieces in there. The End of All Evil, Locke's book, definitely. Yes.
I think that was a really good. I really liked the end quote, or like the main point, which was the end goal of evil is to hide the truth away and make it so they're. That's what I hear. I can't remember the exact words, but. Let's find it because I want to use. While you do that, I will say this. So I'm
going to put this on there.
The end goal is to make their truth universal truth. That's what they want to do. That's what it is. Because then when that happens, now and forever, they will be in control. Even when their bodies are gone and when the next generation is there, they will have cemented control. Because that's what their ego wants, is to cement control forever. So that is what they're doing. That's what the end goal is to switch. They're trying to fight against natural law and universal truth, universal law. And it's hard because it's impossible for them to do that, but they're going to keep trying because they have all the time in the world because they understand it. They understand their enemy in this case. Like if we look at it from their perspective, their enemy, their great enemy, the great enemy for them, they accept that this exists and we have to work against it. Now, going back to our perspective, how many people don't accept that there is a universal truth? That's what they did first. So now it's much harder. Let me see if I can find it. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's a very, very hard thing, right? Let's see here.
Well, 18 and all the podcasts have a richness in it that you don't really get if you're just listening. That's why I think it is useful to read and to follow, because there's nuances in it that are valuable and useful. So
no, I agree. I mean, doing it both is really good, but I would say, let's see here, where is it? I can't find the quote. I wish I could find it though. Yeah, mind control, all the different things, worldview poisoning. That's the easiest thing to see how it's happening when you think about like how many times, well, yeah, all kinds of stuff. So these questions that he asks, or that he said, like the body and mind connection work together to form the nature of the individual. This is something we create as we live upon our choices of who are we going to listen to, what are we going to read, what will we watch, what will we listen to, who will we hang out with, and what kind of activities will we do. There is no option to just say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And too many people think that is an option, but it's not an option.
That they're not going to do it?
They're like, oh, I'm not going to listen to this, I'm not going to read this, but in reality, they're listening to something else then. If they're not choosing to listen to somebody else will talk to them. If they choose not to do this activity, someone else will make them do something. I think that's a big thing right there. That was a key thing because it's a big deal. And too many people think that the option is not do anything. But as soon as you stop doing something, as soon as you stop choosing, something else will take control. Same thing, right? I'm present, I'm enjoying life. As soon as I decide to stop being control of my own life, something else steps in.
Yeah, it's an ongoing practice. So I want to, this is definitely stuff for me to process and for you as well. Yeah. So I would love, it's like this song, I'd like to buy the world, and keep it company. Do you remember that song? No. I don't remember that, but it's like,
we should wrap up.
Okay. Yep. We're going to wrap up. Good.
Amazing episode.
This is what's useful is to communicate and to move through things. Not that we have to come up into perfect agreement or perfect.
No, but there needs to be a mutual understanding.
A mutual understanding, I think, is useful, and I think that we can have that. I think that the whole world we can have that, and it's useful. Okay, there's the link right there. What on earth is happening? That's where you can get the whole PDF and then follow it. He's got some good